We're here with Stephen Poster of the ICG and Local 600. Stephen, thank you for sitting down once again with us on the couch and talking with ProductionHUBTV about everything that's new.
It's our yearly chance to talk.
I know. So what's new at ICG? What's
the big news is that our executive director, Bruce Doring, who's been with us for 30 years, is retiring. Okay. We've hired a new executive director who is wonderful. We spent the last 6 months on an executive search, and her name is Rebecca Ryan, and she's a very strong executive, and we're very excited about the change. I think it's going to be a good and healthy change. You know, the interesting thing is that business is good all over the country.
Yeah.
It's now getting better here in the sense that it was never really gone, but the jobs were smaller. Now we're starting to get television back, features back, but it's not affecting the work in Atlanta or New York or any of the other centers. It's very busy, and that's good. We're feeding a worldwide voracious market for media.
Yeah. I understand you recently went to Camera Homage.
I was at Camera Homage this year again. It was a really wonderful year. You know, the thing about Camera Homage is that there's nothing to do but Camera Homage when you're there. It's the middle of winter in Poland. Great screening. They had 300 films this year. You could see just about anything you wanted. But it's the camaraderie, the coming together of cinematographers from all over the world to see, you know, it's brothers and sisters talking about what we do and the love we have for it.
Yeah.
And this year I was so taken by the winner of the festival was Ed Lachman. He got the Golden Frog for the movie Carol, which was shot on Super 16.
Wow.
And it's beautiful.
It's a period piece.
It's a period piece, 50s, yeah.
Yep. So what else is going on Local 600, ICG, new initiatives, new activities, and coming up for 2016? You
know, the important thing is that we are very active in training, and that's been ever since I became president. We've had a very active training program, and it evolves. We started out, we were the first ones to do file-based training on file-based capture. And that was very important. I think we trained about 700 people across the country in how to deal with file-based. And then all of a sudden, file-based was it. Yeah. You know, especially when the hurricane hit or the earthquake hit in Japan, and they weren't manufacturing tape anymore. File-based was it. And so we were prepared. And that's the way we approach everything. We try to stay ahead of the curve on what's coming. Now we're investigating VR, we're investigating HDR actively. We have a very active group of drone pilots and crews that are all ICG and they're certified and they're ready to go, and they're doing the work. So
you guys are looking at the whole playing field, not missing anything.
There's new things happening, and in every new thing that happens, there are jobs.
Right.
We're there to get them.
Just kind of expanding upon that, what kind of trends are you seeing that we can expect to deepen in 2016 as far as cinematography, workflow?
It's very interesting. One of the things that I see is a swing back to diffusion filters. 4K and beyond, you know, again, everybody's talking 8K now. Is so unforgiving in a way that film was forgiving, that cinematographers are finding a much more important need for diffusion. And there's some wonderful new diffusion out there. I mean, I've used everything from stockings to saran wrap, you know, but now we're seeing things that are developed for 4K, and really helping those, you know, skin problems and the things that you can't hide with 4K. And now we're going to get into HDR, high dynamic range. That's exciting.
Yeah.
I'm not as excited about high frame rate. I think that's a miss, but I can be convinced if I see the right technology. Certainly at 48 frames, it's a miss. It doesn't work. If you saw The Hobbit at 48 frames, you'll know. Where you see contact lenses in Hobbit's eyes, you know, and bad sets, and it just was very disappointing. There's also something that happens when you move off of 24 frames per second. It becomes nearly impossible for an audience to suspend disbelief. It starts to look like a telenovela. So again, we're going to have to develop the ways that we, being cinematographers and crews, that people see these images in a way that they're going to be able to suspend disbelief.
And not getting too into the science of, how our eyes work, but in a general sense, why is it that it's 24 frames that suspends disbelief, and something more is where it looks like you're watching a video or whatnot?
It's a very interesting question, because I started noticing it in the 90s and started talking about it in that sense, but it's been an elusive subject. We all know what it looks like when you're not doing 24. You could go to 30 frames a second and it still has that quality of looking like reality, like reality TV. But there is some temporal quality that translates from the optic nerve to the brain in a way at 24 frames a second that allows you to suspend disbelief. It's the old McLuhan hot medium and cool medium, radio, between radio and television. Radio makes the audience visualize. Television,
theater of the mind.
Why is it that you can go into a live theater with a proscenium, with lights, with audience people around, and if it's a great play, you suspend disbelief and you're right there in that story? And that's what we are. We're storytellers, and that's what we have to be concerned about. It'd be very interesting. The next couple of years is going to be very interesting.
And do you think that's a challenge now that you're looking at a little bit to kind of keep a little control of the masses, or help to shape, because the technology is getting so crazy, at 6K, 8K, and who knows what, and all the other technologies, that people are forgetting the most principal concept of what you just talked about?
For instance, with high dynamic range, cinematographers know that it's often what you don't see that's important. So the idea that high dynamic range has all of this dimension to it, all of this highlight and shadow detail, all of this color detail, do we use that all the time? No. What do you do when you want it to be a shadow? So it's a matter of how it's used, how it's implemented, and what it costs.
So, Production Hub's got a few 100,000 people that come to the site to look information, watch videos, hunt for jobs, etc. Telling our people, where can they go to learn more about Local 600, ICG, maybe get in contact with you or not,
Well, I'll tell you, we are, within the next week, I believe, we are launching our new website, which will be full of information, icg.com.
Perfect.
I just saw the working website, and it's really full of information.
Terrific.
Great.
All right. Well, thanks again for Stephen to sit down with us. That was a great discussion, and we look forward to doing it at least next December.
Absolutely. Good
Thanks
to see you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.